Is your favorite anime overrated? Well, if your favorite anime is Demon Slayer, then maybe. I'm kidding. Demon Slayer's fine. I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. You guys are kind of crazy. But today, I am gonna be looking over IMDb's top 10 anime lists to see if I agree or disagree with their anime takes, and if these top 10 animes are rated fairly or well. Okay, starting off extremely lukewarm here. Obviously, we know Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is always going to be at the top of these lists. I know, but does it deserve to be? I mean, it's a great anime. It's a great story. It's revised very well. For me, I would say on this list, it's only like just barely teensy bit overrated. But don't attack me yet. I just think I don't personally enjoy it as much as maybe some other viewers do. And that's just because I'm more on the slice of life side, and this is very like jumps into the action very fast, and while I like the action, I just maybe don't always want it all the time. Which brings us to the next one on the list, Hunter x Hunter, which I would say is very fairly rated as being one of the best anime of all time. A shonen that is very like short and precise, which is not a very common characteristic of shonens, which is why I love it. All the characters are likable and enjoyable. There's some like social commentary. There's action when there needs to be, but it's not like just so diluted that it's constantly big, intense action, kind of like, you know, like a Dragon Ball Z type of a show. So I personally would switch Hunter x Hunter in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And we got Steins Gate. Steins Gate is great. It is amazing. When you first watch Steins Gate, it is really good, exciting. A lot of different kind of thoughts on time travel, which I can't think of a ton of anime that mess with time travel the way Steins Gate did. So I really enjoy it. It's either a tiny bit overrated or just right here. I don't know if I'd say it's like the third best anime of all time. And I'm gonna say it's just barely overrated at an 8.8 rating. I would maybe give it like an 8. Clanad or Canada. And I think Clanad, from what I haven't finished it, but from what I've seen, is really good, very touching, which I'm such a sucker for anything that has more emotional, grounded roots. Because again, I watch Slice of Life, and Slice of Life is so cool, I know. And I just have a good time. I have enjoyed every second of watching it. I'm surprised it's at 4 on this list. Something I would rate about an 8.6. So I think it's pretty well rated. Code Geass. This is where I get spicy. I hate Code Geass, and I know that Code Geass has like a super huge, intense fan base. People, you know, everyone that loves Code Geass loves that character, and it's like, you thought you knew my plan all along, but I'll have you know, and I don't mess with that. Like, I just don't enjoy it. That character usually in anime is like the character I want to get away from. They're the characters I remember from high school. Like, and it's every character in the show. It's just like, you know, they've got their big giant plans, taking over with rebellions and blah blah blah, playing chess with mechs and all these things, and they're just annoying. I don't even remember the main character's name, the dude with the cape, but he sucked. He was so unlikable, so boring. He just like is pretentious the whole time. Like, if I swap this with an anime just based off like something that you could still have that kind of characteristic but is a lot more accessible, I would just put Death Note here. Cowboy Bebop. Look, Cowboy Bebop, it's great. It set the standard for like that kind of like adventure anime for so many anime to follow. And it had just like such its own flavor that was very unique. Like the jazz in the show, all the characters are super memorable. All the episodes are memorable. There's not too many of them. It's a very short series, very easy to digest. Really, really good. I'd say it's pretty well rated, but again, I feel like if I were to switch for something that's even better and kind of in the same realm, I would definitely put Space Dandy there. I enjoyed watching Space Dandy 5 times more than I enjoyed Cowboy Bebop. Maybe just because Cowboy Bebop is almost a little too moody, you know, and it's like in the way that it's like portrayed. I don't know how to say that any better because I'm not an English major. I think Cowboy Bebop is amazing. I'm not discrediting it. I think it also historically has done a ton for anime. I think it's well rated. 8.9 is we're tossing up into kind of like a little bit much. Number 7 is Fighting Spirit. I don't think I've seen Fighting Spirit like at all. I've heard loosely about it, but I'm kind of surprised it's number 7. It feels like they're just putting one that might just be like to get a diversity with the sports anime being on here. But like, I do know that I really don't hear anybody talk about Fighting Spirit. So I feel like if I just went off that, I'd say it's probably overrated, being like number 7 on a top 10 anime series of all time list. IMDb, what are you doing? Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann is,
it's fine.
I liked it when I watched it like years ago. Probably rated a 7.5 personally, so I'd say it's a little overrated. Again, that's just it's just being very, very particular. Worth it. I'm gonna rewatch it, so worth a rewatch at least. So I'd say it's just about well rated. Death Note. Number 9, Death Note is like, and maybe it's just because I'm in the States and Death Note has reached such a broad audience here, but Death Note is just so iconic with L and Light, and it's just like anybody I know that's a weeb or watches anime in the States knows about Death Note. They even made a terrible live action out of this movie in the States with Light Turner. It being 9, while you have Code Geass so high on the list, I would just swap these. I feel like Death Note is the perfect, like, say you want to get your parents into anime and they're just like, oh, that's that stuff with the tentacles, right? And you're like, Mom, no. You show them Death Note because if they like dramas or crime or thrillers, they'll probably enjoy Death Note because it's not paced so much like an anime as it is just a normal film that just happens to be animated. And it's very compelling, very smart. You don't really know where it's going, and keeps you guessing for a huge portion of it. Monster, which I am super shocked. I'm guessing IMDb's list is very biased to anime that more like bleed into like movie lovers too. And Monster is the similar thing of like Death Note, but much less known. Because anytime I talk about Monster to anybody, they're like, what?
What's Monster? Monsters Inc.?
I can't say enough about it because it starts off so strongly and so intensely. It's just this big question of like ethical values and morality and all this stuff, and it's intense like Death Note is, kind of portrayed in the same way that it's not gonna like hit you like I guess more expected anime might hit you. And I think to a movie fan or like a crime or thriller fan would really find it. I feel like you would like Monster a lot. It is kind of just pulls at the same strings or niche, I guess. And yeah, I find that Monster pretty enjoyable all the way through. So I would say it's pretty well rated, and honestly surprised it's number 10. I don't know what other people think of Monster. I really don't hear people talk about Monster a lot. I would honestly in that fashion then say mostly it's underrated. Overall, IMDb's list is kind of weird. Like there's some very expected things and then some very unexpected things. Well, buckaroos, thanks for watching. Let me know if you think my anime taste is just not ooh at all and awful. Would love to hear what your takes are. If you got any spicy takes on anime, put them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button or subscribe. Helps me out so much. And if you got any more lists in mind, also let me know whether you like my anime taste or not. I'll see you next time.